بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم أخلصنا نيتنا والأعمالنا يا أرحم الراحمين. أيها الإخوة والأخوات والمشاهدون الكرام، فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم إلى تجاه الأمة. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نحن نسعد معنا الشيخ مجاهد علي، هو أستاذ باللغة والحديث أولا من بريطانيا، بعد ذلك من دمشق. معنا الشيخ الكرام الشيخ مجاهد. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم إلى تجاه الأمة يا أستاذ. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أستاذ.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. هل تسمعني؟
أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم يا أستاذ.
أهلا بكم جميعا، شكرا، بارك الله فيك.
أهلا إلى تجاه الأمة. الحمد لله، نحن نسعد أنت معنا الآن، ونريد منك إن شاء الله الفضائل منك إن شاء الله. نحن نعرف في كل زمان نحن أمة واحدة، وفي كتاب الله سبحانه وتعالى الكلمة الأمة موجود فيها يعني 60 فوق 60 مرة إن شاء الله. فنريد منك الآن فليتفضل مشكورا. جزاكم الله خيرا يا أستاذ.
بارك الله فيكم عبد المؤمن، وشكرا جزيلا لمن قام بهذا المشروع الطيب تجاه الأمة. The concept of the أمة، هذا موضوع شيق ومهم جدا، فبارك الله فيكم وكثر الله من أمثالكم وشكر الله سعيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا كثيرا. مشاهدينا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كما تفضل أخونا الفاضل عبد المؤمن يحيى أن الكلام في هذا اليوم مع حضراتكم، مع ساداتكم، في معنى الأمة. ما مفهوم الأمة؟ ما هي كلمة أمة؟ ما التي تعني كلمة الأمة؟ فأبدأ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد الصادق الوعد الأمين، وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان ودعا بدعوتهم إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا، وزدنا علما وعملا وتقا وصلاحا يا أرحم الراحمين. أيها الإخوة والأخوات والطلبة والطالبات ومشاهدين الكرام، أحييكم جميعا بتحية الإسلام مرة أخرى، وأقول لكم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم جميعا أينما كنتم. ما معنى الأمة؟ هذا هو موضوعنا الذي طرح علي أخونا الفاضل ومشروعه الشيق تجاه الأمة. ما معنى الأمة؟ كلمة أمة تعني ماذا؟ فكما تعرفون أيها الإخوة والأخوات، عندما ننظر إلى القاموس مثلا، ماذا يقول الإمام الهمام الراغب الأصفهاني؟ هذا مما كتب في مفردات غريب القرآن، لأن هذه الكلمة كلمة الأمة موجودة في القرآن الكريم في آيات كثيرة، نعم، تكاد تبلغ يعني حوالي 30 وأكثر من 30 آية كلمة أمة موجودة في القرآن. فإذا ما نظرنا إلى قاموس القرآن للراغب الأصفهاني يقول لفظ الأمة كل جماعة يجمعهم أمر ما، إما دين أو شيء آخر. يعني كل جماعة يجمعهم، لابد أن تكون هذه الجماعة يعني فكرتها واحدة وأفكارها واحدة، نعم، وموضوعها واحد. هذا هو معنى الأمة. الأمة يعني كل جماعة يجمعهم أمر ما. أما أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، لأنكم كما تعرفون ونحن نعرف جيدا أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بعث إلى كافة للناس بشيرا ونذيرا، وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين، فرسول الله هو رسول عالمي، فأمته لا تختص بمكان دون مكان. أمة محمد ليست فقط في المملكة العربية السعودية كما تعرفون، وليس في بلاد الشام. أمة محمد ليست في بلاد الشام فحسب، بل أمة محمد في كل ناحية وفي كل ضاحية، منتشرة في كل أنحاء العالم. نعم. والعلماء قالوا الأمة يعني أمة محمد تطلق على معنيين. أمة محمد تطلق على معنيين: أمة الدعوة وأمة الإجابة. أمة الدعوة هي من بعث إليهم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم. فكل صغير وكبير، مسلم وغير مسلم، مشرك ديني أو لا ديني، هؤلاء أمة الدعوة، يعني كل من على ظهر هذه الأرض أمة الدعوة. وهناك أمة الإجابة. أمة الإجابة من صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وآمن به. نعم. أمة الإجابة. فالأمة إذن على معنيين. طيب، ما الذي نريد؟ أنا أريد الآن أيها الإخوة والأخوات أن نتدبر في آيتين في كتاب الله عز وجل. الآية الأولى قال سبحانه وتعالى في سورة الأنبياء آية 92، قال سبحانه: إن هذه أمتكم. تدبروا معي أيها الإخوة والأخوات، ماذا قال الله عز وجل؟ قال: إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون. انظروا، أولا قال هذه الأمة أمة واحدة، ثم قال أنا ربكم فاعبدون. نعم. قال إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون. ثم قال في السورة المؤمنون قال وإن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاتقون. فتفسير هاتين الآيتين يعني كلنا على دين واحد، صراط واحد، الرب واحد، والنبي واحد، والقبلة واحدة، ولا نعبد إلا الله، ونعبد الله عز وجل وحده سبحانه وتعالى. فهاتان الآيتان تعلنان أن نكون أمة واحدة يجمع هذه الأمة دين واحد، بغض النظر عن خلفياتنا العرقية أو انتماءاتنا السكنية. نعم، أنت في بنغلاديش أو في الهند أو في باكستان أو في أستراليا أو في اسكتلندا أو في أوروبا أو في أمريكا، أينما كنت أنت من هذه الأمة العظيمة التي يرأسها محمد مصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم، فنحن إخوة في الله عز وجل، يجمعنا ديننا. من قال لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله دخل في هذه الأمة العظيمة. نعم. وإن فرقت بيننا حدود وقفار وبحار وجبال، نعم، لا بأس بذلك، لكن أنا من أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الآن نزور حديثا واحدا، ننظر إلى حديث واحد. هذا الحديث مشهور جدا، لعلكم سمعتم هذا الحديث من قبل. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد. هذا جسد. انظروا إلى دقة تعبير رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال: مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد، إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. رواه مسلم، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. فهذا الحديث إن دل على شيء فإنما يدل على أن هذه الأمة أمة الإسلام كالجسد الواحد. نعم. وفي رواية قال: إن اشتكى عينه اشتكى كله، وإن اشتكى رأسه اشتكى كله. يعني إذا اشتكى عينك الواحدة مثلا، لا يقول أحد إن لي عينين، لكن فقط إحداها تشتكي والباقية صافية جيدة وأنا أستطيع أن أعمل جميع الأعمال. لا، هذه العين الواحدة إذا اشتكت أيها الإخوة والأخوات كما تعرفون، هذا الشخص لا يستطيع أن يعمل، لا يستطيع أن يخرج من البيت ويؤدي أعماله، بل هو يشتكي ويجلس في البيت حزينا كئيبا مريضا يحتاج إلى الطبيب، لا يهدأ له طعام ولا يطيب له شراب ولا نوم ولا شيء، لكن عين واحدة فقط، والجميع الجسد يعني عين واحدة فقط تشتكي، لكن جميع الجسد يشتكي مع هذه العين. لذلك قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن اشتكى عينه اشتكى كله. فكذلك المؤمن إذا اشتكى أحد في مثلا في الشمال، فالذي في الجنوب هو يتألم. نعم، فكذلك إذا كان هناك مسلم في الغرب يتألم ويجد الوجع ويبكي مثلا، فالذي في الشمال أو في الغرب أو في الجنوب أو في يعني أينما كان في هذه الأرض هو كذلك يتألم معه. هذا هو معنى الأمة. يعني أنت إذا اشتكى أحد من الأمة، إذا شخص واحد يشتكي فأنت معه تشتكي، وأنت معه تتألم، وأنت معه تبكي. فكرتك فكر الأمة وليس فكر الأسرة فقط. أنا مثلا من بنجلاديش، وهناك شخص آخر في فلسطين أو في سوريا أو في بورما أو في كشمير، عندما أسمع أنهم يتألمون وأنهم في ضيق وأنهم في مصيبة، نعم، أو يعني أحاطت بهم الحوادث والنوائب والمصائب، نعم، فأنا أتألم وأنا أفكر ماذا أفعل. أنا أدعو الله عز وجل وأنا أفعل بكل ما وسعي أن أفرج عنهم. لماذا؟ لأن هؤلاء، نعم، وإن كانوا بعيدا، نعم، وإن كانوا بعيدين عني، لكن يجمعنا الدين الواحد. هذا ما نفهم من هذا الحديث. وإذا فكرنا أيها الإخوة والأخوات في العبادات الجماعية، قولوا لي لماذا أمرنا ديننا أن نصلي الصلوات الخمس بالجماعة؟ فكروا معي جيدا. نعم، كل شخص يصلي في البيت، هذا يجوز. نعم، أنا أصلي في البيت وأنت تصلي في البيت وفلان يصلي في البيت وأخت لي ما شاء الله هي تصلي في قاعد غرفتها، لا بأس بذلك كله. نعم، لكن الشريعة أمرتنا أن نصلي الصلوات الخمس بالجماعة حتى نشعر أني لست وحيدا، أنا لست فردا، أنا لست مفردا، بل أنا أنتمي إلى هذه الجماعة الطيبة. فكل يوم عندما تصلي في المسجد مع الجماعة، هذا الشعور أنت تشعر الله أكبر، هذه الجماعة الطيبة، نعم، التي تصلي معي. لماذا؟ هذا إن دل على شيء فإنما يدل على عظم هذه الأمة وكبر هذه الأمة وشمولية هذه الأمة، وأن هذه الأمة أمة واحدة أينما كانت ومهما كانت. نعم، لذلك قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إنما جعل الإمام ليؤتم به، فإذا كبر فكبروا، وإذا ركع فاركعوا، وإذا سجد فاسجدوا. يعني كأنها خطط، نعم، خطها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. كل واحد لا يقول أنا أعبد كما ينبغي لي، أنا أعبد الله عز وجل، أنا يعني أبتدع عبادة من عندي نفسي، من تلقاء نفسي. هذا لا يجوز، بل أنت تعبد الله عز وجل كما أمرك رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. نعم، فصلاتنا واحدة ونصلي في نفس الوقت ومع خلف إمام، وهذا الإمام ربما لا أعرفه وربما لا يعرفني، لا بأس بذلك. لماذا؟ لأنه فرد من الأمة، الآن هو يعني في الأمام، الإمام في الأمام، فهذا الإمام عندما يكبر أنا أكبر، عندما يركع أنا أركع. ولا يقول أحد أنا وزير وأنا يعني رئيس الوزراء مثلا، وأنا مهندس أو أنا طبيب أو أنا فلان وفلان ولي حرفة عظيمة كبيرة وأنا عندي أنا أعمل في مناصب عالية. لا، إذا كبر الإمام يعني هذا الإمام ربما كان يعني رجلا عاديا، نعم ربما كان رجلا يعني أنا لا أعرفه ولا يعرفني، لكنه الآن إمام، إذا كبر الإمام فكبروا، وإذا ركع فاركعوا، وإذا سجد فاسجدوا. الآن جعل الإمام ليؤتم به. نعم طبعا هكذا نعبد الله عز وجل، لكن في الوقت نفسه عندما تخرج من المسجد وترى الجماعة يعني العظيمة، تقول في نفسك أنا لست وحيدا، معي هذه الأمة، أنا أعبد الله عز وجل، وهذه الصلوات الخمس نعم المسلمون أينما كانوا وأينما حلوا وساروا هم يصلون ويقيمون الصلوات. نعم فهذه الصلوات كل يوم مع الجماعة تخبرنا أننا ننتمي إلى هذه الأمة الطيبة، نعم أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. ثم هناك صلاة أخرى، في بعض الأحيان لا نستطيع أن نصلي بالجماعة كل يوم 5 مرات لأمور ما ولأسباب تعرفونها ولا تعرفونها ربما، لكن لا يستطيع كثير من الناس أن يصلي صلوات الخمس يعني بالجماعة كل يوم. لكن هناك صلاة يستطيع كل مسلم أن يصلي مرة في الأسبوع، ألا وهي صلاة الجمعة في يوم الجمعة. نعم الله سبحانه وتعالى أمرنا في محكم تبيانه: يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. المعاملات نعم الآن اتركوها لمدة قليلة. المعاملة والمعاشرة نعم وكل ما تفعلون أنتم انتظروا قليلا، اتركوا هذه الأشياء، فاسعوا إلى عبادة الله، فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله، فاسعوا إلى يعني استماع الخطبة ولإقامة الصلاة. وصلاة الجمعة يعني في مسجد جامعي في قديم الزمان كان في كل مدينة صلاة واحدة، يعني في مسجد كبير مثلا المسجد الجامع، هناك مصلى وهناك مساجد صغيرة في السكك وفي القرى. أما صلاة الجمعة كانت تقام في مسجد عظيم كبير اسم هذا المسجد يعني الجامع، يجمع جميع القرى جميع أهل المدن. هكذا كانوا يصلون في الزمن القديم فيما غبر من الزمان. أما الآن ففي كل قرية مسجد وفي كل مدينة مساجد كثيرة ما شاء الله، لا بأس. فصلاة الجمعة في يوم الجمعة نعم الله سبحانه وتعالى نعم يقول فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله، فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. لماذا؟ لأننا جمعنا لذكر الله عز وجل. فعندما تصلي صلاة الجماعة أنت تشعر أن هذه الجماعة الكبيرة والناس جاءوا من كل فج عميق لإقامة صلاة الجمعة، أنا أنتمي إلى هذه الأمة، أنا من أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. ربما هو يصلي بطريقة مختلفة، ربما هو يقول آمين جهرا، وهذا يقول آمين سرا، وهذا يرفع يديه قبل الركوع وهذا لا يرفع. هذه الفروعات المسائل الفرعية تختلف، لكن الأصول لا تختلف. المسائل الفرعية يعني هذا تختلف. نعم قد اختلفت آراء الصحابة في هذا الأمر، لكن صلاتنا واحدة ونصلي خلف الإمام ونسمع الخطبة ونصلي متجهين إلى قبلة واحدة. هذه الأصول لا تختلف أبدا إن شاء الله تعالى. نعم لماذا أمرنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن نصلي صلاة الجمعة بالجماعة في مسجد واحد؟ لأمور كثيرة، منها كما قلت يعني حتى يستشعر كل واحد أنه ينتمي إلى هذه الأمة، الأمة المحمدية. نعم وكذلك صلاة العيدين. نعم بل جاء التأكيد في صلاة العيدين. ربما يعني سمعتم أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر النساء فقالوا يا رسول الله ما بال الحيض، يعني النساء اللاتي نعم لا يستطيعن حضور الجماعة لأجل الحيض. قال حتى الحيض يعني يحضرنا. ثم قال لماذا؟ يشهدن الخير ودعوة المسلمين. نعم وهناك أمر آخر، عندما كل واحد يترك صلاة العيد يعني في القرى ويأتي كل شخص إلى مصلى كبير لصلاة العيد بجماعة كبيرة، هذا مما يغيظ الكفر الفجر الفسق، وكل واحد يقول الله أكبر، هذه الجماعة الكبيرة، هذه الجماعة العظيمة، نعم، هي أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأنا من هذه الأمة. اختلفت الآراء لا بأس، اختلفت الآراء لا بأس بذلك، الاختلاف في المسائل الفرعية لا بأس بذلك، لكن أنا من هذه الأمة العظيمة، كل واحد يحب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. هذا الذي يقول آمين جهرا وهذا الذي يقول آمين سرا مثلا، هل هو لا يحب رسول الله؟ هو يحب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وهو يحب الله عز وجل، وهو يدين لله رب العالمين، وهو يعني يضحي نفسه للإسلام والدين. نعم، كما قلت يعني المسائل الفرعية هذا شيء آخر، اختلفت الصحابة وهذا الاختلاف يبقى، وهذا الاختلاف يدل على عظم هذه الأمة وفتوحية هذه الأمة، لها آراء. المهم يعني نعود إلى ما كنت أقول، وكذلك الحج، أريد أن أقول يعني أمرين فقط. نعم، أولا الحج، نعم، فرض الله عز وجل الحج في بقعة واحدة فقط. نعم، الحج في مكة، الحج في مكة. إذا قال أحد أنا أحج في داكا أو أحج في كشمير أو أحج في مكان آخر، هذا الحج ليس بحج. الحج في بقعة مباركة مخصوصة طيبة، يعني حددها وعينها الشارع. نعم، ولله على الناس حج البيت، وهذا البيت في مكة المكرمة بيت الله يعني الكعبة. نعم، فنحن يعني عندما نذهب إلى الحج، نعم، ففي 8 من ذي الحجة الناس يكونون في منى، ثم في 9 كل واحد يذهب إلى عرفة، ثم في الليل يعني عرفة، في الليل يعني في 9 يذهبون إلى مزدلفة، ثم في 10 يعودون إلى منى. يعني يعني كأننا في الرحلة، كأننا في رحلة، لكن هذه الرحلة الإيمانية الطيبة المباركة. من خطط هذه الرحلة؟ يعني the itinerary، من خطط هذه الرحلة؟ مخطط الرحلة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. إذا شخص يقول أنا من المهندسين وأنا من الوزراء وأنا من الرؤساء وأنا من الملوك، فلذلك في يوم 9 في يوم عرفة أنا لا أذهب إلى عرفة لأن الجماعة كبيرة، وأنا لا أحب الازدحام، وأنا لا أحب الانتظار، أنا لا أريد أن أنتظر في الطابور. هل حجه صحيح؟ حجه لا يكون صحيحا، ولو ذبح الغنم، ولو ذبح الشاة الكثيرة وذبح الإبل، نعم، وضحى بأموال كثيرة، حجه باطل. لماذا؟ لأن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الحج عرفة. كل شخص، نعم، كل حاج يحج بيت الله عز وجل لا بد له من الحضور في هذا المكان الطيب، لا بد. الحج عرفة، لا بد. لا يظن ظان أنا من بنغلاديش أو أنا من أمريكا أو أنا من أوروبا أو أنا من أستراليا فلذلك أنا يعني لا أحضر وحجي صحيح. لا يكون حجك صحيحا أبدا أينما كنت ومهما كنت، لا. لماذا؟ لا بد لك أن تتبع سنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وتكون مع الأمة، وتكون مع هذا الجم الغفير، أن تكون مع هذا الجم الغفير. نعم. وأخيرا وليس آخرا أيها الإخوة والأخوات، أريد أن أذكركم ونفسي بالخطبة التي قالها رسول الله، التي ألقاها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في أيام الحج. نعم، ولا سيما يعني اشتهرت هذه الخطبة بخطبة حجة الوداع، لكن أنا فقط يعني أقتبس من هذه الخطبة حديثا واحدا فقط. ماذا قال؟ ألا لا فضل لعربي على عجمي، ولا لعجمي على عربي، ولا لأبيض على أسود، ولا لأسود على أبيض إلا بالتقوى. خلاص، لا يفضل بنغالي على باكستاني، ولا باكستاني على بنغالي، ولا هندي على عربي، ولا عربي على هندي، ولا عجمي على عربي، ولا عربي على عجمي، كل سواء أمام الله عز وجل. هذه الأمة كلها سواسية، كسواسية أمشات المشط، كسواسية، نعم، أسنان المشط. كل هذه الأمة سواء أمام الله عز وجل، لا فضل لأحد على أحد. قال إلا بالتقوى. الله سبحانه وتعالى لا ينظر إلى الصور، هذا الوجه يعني أسود أو أبيض أو أصفر أو أحمر، لا، إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أموالكم، ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. قلوبكم، نعم. فلذلك قال إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم، إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى، كلنا من آدم وحواء، كلكم من آدم وآدم خلق من تراب. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل، لماذا؟ لتعارفوا، إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. فهذه الأمة أيها الإخوة أمة عظيمة، هذه الأمة أمة كبيرة جدا، هذه الأمة يعني انتشرت في جميع أنحاء العالم. نعم، وقد بشر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن أمته تبلغ حيث يبلغ الليل، وقد صدق رسول الله. إذا سافرتم إلى الشرق، نعم، أو إلى الغرب، إلى الشمال أو إلى الجنوب، ترى مسلما يوحد الله عز وجل ويعبده سبحانه وتعالى وحده. جزاكم الله خيرا كثيرا وشكرا جزيلا، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاكم الله خيرا شيخ مجاهد علي، أكرمك الله كما أكرمتنا. أستاذ، سمعت منك الكلمة الطيب ومشاهدونا الكرام يسمعوا كلها، ولكن نحن نسكن الآن في زمان بعد القوة المسلمين الآن. القوة هي مع غير المسلمين، يعني على المسيحيين وكذا وكذا. والرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قدوتنا، ولكن الآن نحن نسكن بعيد من قدوته. والآن في بلداننا كثير الناس ونحن نقول نحن شعب بنغلاديش وشعب الجزائري وشعب السوري وكذا وكذا. هذا الحقيقة علينا يا أستاذ. كيف نخرج الحب الأمة من كلام والعمل من ختام المسيح صلى الله عليه وسلم؟
بارك الله فيكم. يعني في الحقيقة أولا يعني لا ينبغي لأحد أن يقول نحن على غير قوة، نحن على ضعف. هذه الأمة لا تضعف. نعم، هذه الأمة بعضهم نائمون لكنهم يستيقظون إن شاء الله تعالى إذا جاء نصر الله عز وجل. فنحن يعني الحمد لله هذه الأمة كما قلتم، يعني نحن لسنا في ضعف ولله الحمد. وإذا كنا ربما عددنا قليل، لكن الله عز وجل لا ينظر إلى العدد القليل. انظروا إلى أصحاب بدر، كان عددهم عددا ضئيلا، كانوا أقل عددا وأضعف عددا، لكن مع ذلك قال الله عز وجل ولقد نصركم الله ببدر وأنتم أذلة، عدد قليل جدا أذلة، فاتقوا الله ثم قال فاتقوا الله لعلكم تشكرون، فاتقوا الله عز وجل. فهذه الأمة إذا يعني رجعت وعادت إلى كتاب الله وسنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، فهذه النصرة التي كانت مع الصحابة تكون مع هذه الأمة إن شاء الله تعالى أولا. ثانيا كما قلتم يعني نحن في جهل في الحقيقة عندما نقول يعني هذه الانتماءات العرقية أو الوطنية، هذه الانتماءات للمفاهمة، للمشاركة، يعني وكما قال الله عز وجل لتعارفوا، ليتعارف بعضنا بعضا. هذا لأمور، لأسباب سهل الله عز وجل. يعني هذه الحدود، يعني هذه الحدود من أين جاءت؟ هذه الحدود ليس من الله عز وجل. الأمة أمة واحدة، هذه الحدود يعني فعلها من فعلها لأمور نعرفها أو لا نعرفها. لكن كما قلت يعني نخرج هذا يعني هذا الحب الأعمى من القلوب وندخل في قلوبنا هذه الشمولية التي يعني تكلمت عنها قبل قليل، يعني أننا ننتمي إلى جماعة كبيرة. عندما نذهب إلى الحج ترى رجلا يعني من الشرق، وترى واحدا من الغرب، وترى من الشمال والجنوب، لا يتكلم لغتي ولا يلبس بلباسي، لكن سبحان الله هو في السجود معي، عندما سجد الإمام سجد. فنحن من هذه الأمة، نحن من هذه الأمة الطيبة. أنت كنت جزائريا أو بنغاليا أو باكستانيا أو هنديا، هذا لأمر ما، لكن الشيء الوحيد يجمعنا الدين، وكذلك يعني القبلة وديننا وقرآننا ودستورنا وحديثنا. هذا مما لابد لنا أن دائما نذكر بأنفسنا، لأن هذه الأمة ضعفت لأجل هذه الأمور. نحن لم نفهم معنى الأمة وشمولية هذه الأمة، أن هذه الأمة أمة عظيمة وليس تختص بمكان دون مكان. نعم.
جزاك الله خير. يا شيخنا، هل فرق بين الفكرة الأمة من ختام المسك والآن بين الوطن والشعب؟ كيف الفرق من فكرة الرسول وفكرتنا؟
يعني ليس هناك فرق، يعني هذا من فهم هذا المعنى فقد أخطأ، فقد فهم غلطا. يعني الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كان عنده، جاء الناس من كل صابية، من كل ضاحية. فهذا سلمان جاء من الفارس، سلمان الفارسي، وهذا صهيب جاء من الروم، صهيب الرومي، وهذا بلال حبشي، لكن رسول الله في المدينة. كل من انضم إلى لواء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أصبحت من الأمة. الآن رأيه يطاع ورأيه يسمع وكلامه يسمع وهو يحترم. نعم. فسلمان الفارسي عندما قال، يعني ماذا قال سلمان الفارسي رضي الله تعالى عنه؟ هو يعني أظهر رأيه في غزوة الخندق، وفي هذه الجماعة أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وسادات قريش وسادات المسلمين. نعم. وسلمان الفارسي رجل من الخارج، ليس له حسب ولا نسب يعرفه العربي. نعم. لكن مع ذلك عندما تكلم سمع كلامه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. هذا ليعلن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الأمة: اسمعوا هذه يا أيتها الأمة، كل واحد يقول لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله كلامه يسمع وهو من هذه الأمة. نعم. هذه أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
جزاك الله خيرا، أكرمك الله كما أكرمتنا. أيها الإخوة والأخوات والمشاهدون الكرام، أهلا وسهلا بكم إلى تجاه الأمة. الآن نحن نتكلم باللغة الإنجليزية إن شاء الله، وفي المستقبل نحن نتكلم باللغة العربية والإنجليزية والبنغالية بإذن الله تعالى. الآن نحن نتكلم بالإنجليزية. أستاذ جزاكم الله خير for joining us. It's an honor to have you here on Tujah al-Ummah. We had the honor of introducing Ustad right at the beginning. For those who have read Ustad's profile, we were honored to spend some time studying Arabic with Ustad. He's specializing in the Arabic language and literature and in the field of hadith. And we know also he's dedicated a lot of time in qira'at too. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from him, and may Allah give him the best for the rest of his life in serving the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and bless his family. So we're once again honored, and jazakumullah khair for your time, Ustad. Now we were talking about the concept of the Ummah in the language of the Quran for many of our viewers who inshallah will benefit from this journey with the Tujah al-Ummah, and we're honored to have you being at the beginning of it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it, inshallah. Now, the concept of the Ummah, often we're always talking about the ideal, and the reality is very different. However, what I would like to ask you, if you wanted to compare what you as a student, as a teacher, as a sheikh, understand by Ummah, and how, what concerns you when it comes to the understanding of the Ummah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Well, Jazakumullah khairan, Ustaz Abdul Mu'min, once again for having me at your program. I mean, like I mentioned in Arabic before, that I think the meaning of the Ummah is lost, unfortunately. I think many of us have don't understand the meaning of the Ummah for various reasons, because the time that we're living in, we are kind of driven by, our society and community and what's happening, especially, the whole world, no matter where you are, the whole world become like a one village due to the internet. So, because of the internet, like, the world just became a small village. Everyone is like living in one village. This is what's happening. So, people are actually has been, you could say that the main focus from the Ummah has gone to other things, like, so people, the social network has given us, has confused us, and we have lost that meaning of the Ummah. That Ummah it has a very deeper meaning, that we could be from different backgrounds, could be from different backgrounds, we could be from different countries, we could probably have different learning as well. It doesn't matter. Irrespective of all of that, there's one thing that unites all of us, is that we belong to a very big global ummah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his time, as you all know, that he had people from different backgrounds. The Prophet ﷺ had people from various backgrounds. It wasn't only the Arab, don't forget. If you look at all the 6 books of hadith that we study, Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasai, Ibn Majah, and you look at the map, you notice that they were from various places of Persia, from Khurasan, from Samarkand, from Uzbekistan, from Tajikistan. These are the areas, these guys, their mother tongue were Arabic language. They learn the language, they learn, they could have dedicated, their lives understanding the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then they have left legacy behind. And this is a clear indication that this deen it's not specific for the Arabs. This deen is for everyone. Anyone who says La ilaha illallah and makes an effort, they will leave a legacy behind for the whole ummah. Another non-Arab who never spoke Arabic, when his mother tongue was an Arabic language, Imam Sibawayh. Okay, he wrote a book in Arabic grammar. He wrote a book in Arabic grammar so we could understand the Quran, and his book is the best book ever written till today when it comes to language. And then you have another scholar, Imam Asfahani from Isfahan, Iran, and from Asfahan, he wrote a book called Mufradatul Quran. You have another scholar from Gujarat, India. Okay, he wrote a book called Majma' Bihar al-Anwar, and this book is talking about how to understand the words of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. What's happening here is that all these scholarly works that we have, it's a reminder to all of us that wherever you are, no matter where you live and what you're doing, you belong to a beautiful ummah. That ummah is very big, huge, big ummah. It's the ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you feel that I got to contribute for this deen. You feel I belong to that ummah. You feel that I need to be part of this ummah. I got to do something about this ummah. So you don't feel alone and lonely. I think this meaning is disappearing from our youth today, and we just are going after this football star. It's just a Messi now, and it's just a Ronaldo now, and it's just like some musician and some pop artists and some Bollywood actors and actress, and we are just wasting our time into all of that. We've given too much time to entertainment, and we haven't understood that, what, I am very special in the eyes of Allah. Every one of us that, we belong to this massive ummah. We have usul, we have principles, we have guidelines, we have a clear directions. We have the book. That's what the Prophet of Allah said, I'm leaving behind Quran and Sunnah. You hold on to it, you will never go astray. We are not holding on to it. That's why we are wasting our time. So you're right. We have lost the meaning of the ummah. What is the meaning of the ummah? We need to figure out again. We need to come back and realize that, what? We belong to a massive global ummah, the ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We all need to have the same worries and the same concern. And there are certain things are not that important. We are giving them priorities. The things deserves more important. We have to give them important. Okay. If someone is hungry and is starving, okay, and he's going to die now, he needs to eat something. That's the priority. He shouldn't now worry about where his car keys gone now. Do you understand? If someone is drowning, you need to save that guy from drowning. You don't need to worry that, where does he live and what's his name and what's his background and does he have a passport? Okay. If someone is dying on the street, you don't tell them, do you have insurance? So that you need to save this person now. So we have to get our priorities right, and we have to understand that I belong to a global ummah.
Jazakallah khair. Ustad, we live in what is known as a postmodern reality, and the world has changed for, I would say, in the last 150 to 200 years, very drastically, where in a time which we were not in, but maybe our forefathers and those who came before, and those great men and women that you mentioned who were not necessarily Arab but contributed hugely to our Turath, to our heritage, in terms of language, in terms of fiqh, in terms of understanding, and so on and so forth. Now we live in a time where the lands are with borders. There's literally and physical borders between Muslims, between non-Muslims, and the environment is such that this idea of me first is almost you have no choice. You're almost squeezed to a situation and reality where it's often about me first. So when you mention about the internet and globalization, although we're connecting together, it seems that through our connection, some of us are individually becoming something and not necessarily collectively. So in these very tough climate, particularly for our future youth, to have this sense that our Lord is one, our Deen is one, our Prophet is one, our Quran is one, our way is one, etc., etc. How do we nurture this sense that we are connected to this one Lord and this final messenger and this final book for the whole of humanity? What should our youth, the future of our community, your children, my children, and the children of all of our audience who are watching, how do we ingrain that quality? And of course we have to lead by example. Just to say, for those who have joined us on Face the Ummah, please make sure you like, share, comment, and follow. Every person who shares this page, inshallah, you'll be connected to learning, understanding, and a reward, inshallah. So if you missed some of the content, you can always catch up after the program. But yes, Ustad, our future and the future of this ummah is in our hands, in the sense it's our children and our future children who are living in a very tough environment where it's almost driven towards thinking about themselves and themselves only, and the here and the now, as they express it in English.
Yes, shukran. Basically, we have to first of all remind ourselves with this rich history. When we go to school, we study about history. In those of you in Bangladesh, you study about the Shadinata. Those of us are in England, we study about the Romans, how they were, they made the streets here and roads here. We study the history of England. So every country we are, those of them are in Saudi Arabia, they study about, how the Saud came into power. Every country, they talk about their history. But as a ummah, we need to talk about our history. Our history as a ummah, I'm talking about, not as a country. As a ummah, we got to talk about our history, how the Prophet ﷺ started the preaching of Islam. We got to talk about the seerah of Rasulullah ﷺ. This is one thing is missing from our syllabus. We are not studying the seerah. Seerah is like for the Maulanas, they want to study. Every child should study the seerah of Rasulullah ﷺ. Every single child, we have to get them to study the seerah. The seerah should be introduced in every single maktab that we have in this country, every single masjid that we have in the whole world. We need to, and the whole maktab in the whole world, they need to have seerah. And the seerah will teach us the struggle and how the Prophet of Allah, he tried so hard, 23 years, to unite everyone from different backgrounds. Don't think it was easy for him. It was very, very tough. Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, for example, he was an Abyssinian slave. He was from Habasha. Okay, he was an Abyssinian slave, and it was so difficult for the people to accept Bilal to be a part of this ummah, because this was how the people were in that time. It was very difficult. These guys had a lot of these Arabs, they found I'm talking about the non-believers, not the Sahaba. They one of the things that they used to say, if you read the Quran about Hud alayhi salam, about Salih, about Ibrahim, about Ismail, Dawood, Sulaiman, about Nuh alayhi salam, you will notice in the time of Nuh alayhi salam, they said that, Noah, we would have believed in you, but when we come to see the followers that you have already, it doesn't make sense to us. For they said that, وَمَا نَرَاكَ اتَّبَعَكَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ هُمْ أَرَاذِلُنَا. The lowly people in our communities, the people that will look down on them, the poor people, the people that have, that we do not recognize them, the people who doesn't have much wealth, a profession and jobs, these are the people who have followed you. Okay, same question was asked to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I see only the fuqara, the poor people like Bilal and Suhaib and Ammar bin Yasir. These are the people of embrace Islam. I want to see like Abu al-Hakam or Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab and Abu Sufyan. I want to see those kind of people like that. And Umayyah bin Khalaf. These were the rich people and these were the leaders. Okay, and they were really upset about that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa taala, "Wasbir nafsaka ma'a alladhina yad'una rabbahum bil ghadati wal ashi yuriduna wajha." You ignore these people. You stay with these people who willingly, and they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who embrace Islam, stay with them. So anyway, my point is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made a big effort to give us the meaning of the concept of ummah. So you're absolutely right. What we need to do, we need to study the seerah, go back, study our turath, study our history, our seerah, the Khulafa ar-Rashidun biography of Abu Bakr, biography of Umar and Uthman and Ali, and realize that how these people, even after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay, how the two superpowers that we have, the Romans and the Persians, they had more numbers, they had more money, they had more wealth, they had more weapons, and in the geographical location, they used to rule vast majority of the world. But subhanallah, these companions, with Allah, with the fear of Allah in their heart, the love of Allah, the ideas they took from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were inspired by the Quran with their iman and yaqeen and tawakkul. They went out in the path of Allah and they said, look, we are here to preach the deen of Islam. Okay, let us preach the deen to the people because everyone has the freedom of choice. Let us do that. If you stop us, then we're going to fight you. They're like, you can't fight us. We are, look us, we go all the way. He said that, well, we're going to give our best, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so these companions, after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how did they spread Islam in the entire peninsula? Okay, that Islam has reached all of Jaziratul Arab, as well as then you go as far as all the way to India. Okay, if you look at towards the east, and as for the west, you went all the way to past Spain, for example. Look at the map, the whole of North Africa. Why? It's not because there were millions and millions and millions of Muslims. It's because these companions, the fikr was wahid, one fikr, one idea. Everyone said we all worship Allah and we all are the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Read our Turath, then inshallah that will wake us up and we'll realize that what, it's not just about me. It's about we. We are the Jama'ah. This is Jama'ah. Yadullahi ala al-Jama'ah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hands is on the Jama'ah. The help and the nusra of Allah is in the Jama'ah. وَمَنْ شَذَّ, and the one who says it's going to be, if I'm okay, it's fine. It's my, I have to be okay. I have to be okay. It's all about me. وَمَنْ شَذَّ شَذَّ فِي النَّارِ. And the one who, disembarks or disconnect himself from that Jama'ah, then he will be alone, thrown into Jahannam. So we have to be with the Jama'ah in everything that we do.
Jazakallah khair. Ustad, in listening to what you're saying, and all of our audience who are watching out there, for those who have just joined, you're welcome to Tujahal Ummah, Face the Ummah. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and follow this page and allow others to access. Inshallah, we will try to facilitate guests from all across the globe to speak in the language of Arabic, English, and Bangla, inshallah. Ustad, the idea of, there's this thing about having an ideal and then there's a reality. And sometimes some of us, we get lost in the ideal and are very far from reality. And then that also creates a barrier between us and our future generation, our young people. How do we work to bring that together? Because the thing is, like, for example, if I try to talk about the ideals of the past and the contributions of those men, great men and women, the hum rijal wa nahnu atfal, if you like, they are men or they're women, and we're just children in that sense of the word. And then we have our own children, and we want to connect them with, first and foremost, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is strong, then we can connect them with the final messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if sometimes we say that is tilkal ayyam, those are those days, and we now have our days. And what things can we practically do to teach our young, someone who's 5, someone who's 7. Sometimes we're living in places where the school system is not necessarily always supportive of some of the interests that you might have as a guardian. It could be the same in some Muslim countries. It may not be, you talked about the seerah. It will be interesting to know how much seerah is taught within what is called the wider stream education system that exists in Muslim country, let alone in a minority reality like ours. We can talk about ideals, but we have realities, and how do we find a fine balance?
It's a very good question. First of all, history will repeat itself. So we should never say that it's on goal now, it's not going to happen. They did it and it's finished now, it's not going to happen. History will repeat itself. It's going, so we should never ever think like, tilkal ayyam, these are the people who's already gone now and then it's not going to be repeated. That's not the case. We take inspiration from these stories. We should always, remember the Allah who gave nusra and help and assisted, and the same Allah is with us today. Okay, Rabbul Mashriqi wal Maghribi. Allah is the Lord of the East and the West. It's a reminder that as long as the East and West remain, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there to help. So wherever we are on this face of earth, the help of Allah is there. That's one. Second thing is, I think we have to, like you said, we have to lead by example. We have to, our children, it's very easy for them to follow us when we lead by example. So we have to basically have within ourselves, in our thinking as well, that, we are giving preference to our deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. If we are going to talk about money, superstars, and if we are going to be always watching movies in the house, we can't expect the children to change, because we have to lead by example as well. We have to have circles, halqas in the houses where we discuss these matters with our children, saying that, look, this Khalid ibn al-Walid and this Umar ibn al-Khattab and the Abu Bakrs that we had, who were they? They were like people who actually understood the same Quran that we have now. They understood the same hadith. They've read the same thing, and this is what they have done. Okay, so this is how strong they were in their faith. We have to learn that faith. So I think we have to lead by examples. We have to have this kind of halqas as well. And finally, as you said, that we do not know what kind of syllabus we have in schools, and sometimes we might live in areas. Well, like I said to you, we have now, alhamdulillah, access to everything. So we have to basically now find out what is good for us, what's good to listen, what's good not to listen, which of the courses that I should enroll my children to. We could use the benefit of the internet to educate ourselves, so that we get that realization that we belong to a global ummah. Alhamdulillah, the internet could be a big blessing now in disguise, as long as we know how to use the internet properly. So I think, to answer to your question is a lot. First of all, the parents have to lead by example. We have to find role models. Unfortunately, around the world, we haven't identified this kind of role models. People have the role models have become the football stars, and role models became the people in the soap operas and music industry and entertainment industry. And these people actually, people have taken them on how much time people spend, watching videos and YouTube channels, are watching all these guys. How much time people are spending on TikTok and etc. We are not benefiting. We are corrupting our soul by listening to all these nonsense. We're wasting a lot of time. We are not learning anything. It's just pure waste of time. So we need to learn how to draw a balance where we learn deen and dunya, our sharia. Study in your normal schools, that's very good. Study in college, university, but don't forget your deen. That's all we're saying. And this, inshallah, will give us the realization of being part of this ummah.
If we was listening to you, particularly with the global impact of the online connectivity, if we were to do, if you like, an ummah audit, if we could ever do an ummah audit, you just mentioned about the loss of time. I would say that half of my life has already gone from the age that I am, and maybe the average age that we live in, particularly in this part of the world. Now, when it comes to the internet, it's a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful platform. We are using it right now. This is not something that Tilkal Ayyam had, if you like, those days and days, but their contribution was so legacy giving that, you and I have no choice but to mention the likes of Abu Hanifa and Shafi and Malik and Ahmad and Awza'i and Layth radiallahu anhuma. But how would we in the time of plenty, if you like, so when you talk about knowledge and understanding and practice, we have access so much than maybe perhaps in previous decades and previous centuries before. Now, how do we get the best out of too much? I would say that we have too much information, too much money. Our 24 hours has become I don't know, it's doubled or tripled. We didn't realize what the value of that 24 hours is. How do we cut that into a way that we really can connect with those great words of the Ummah and the contributors of the Ummah?
Well, Jazakallah for the question. Again, it's very, it's not one answer, and it's very difficult because we have to take some responsibilities. One of the first thing that we need to do is identify that how we manage our time. Time management is very important these days. A person basically could be on the phone until the battery dies. And when the battery dies, you will see some people that, the battery is like dying, and it's like 5-10% left. They are still on the phone with the charges on. Okay, so this is the addiction that we have now. So the best thing to do now is basically manage the time. Why can't we say that I'll be on my phone, the screen time, I'm going to reduce the screen time, or make a physical timetable where you say that this is the time I'm going to be doing this. This is the time I'm going to be using internet for listening to the talk. This is the time I'm going to use it for learning Arabic language. This is the time I'm going to use it for using the internet, but this time I'm going to join a course like that. If we could draw a physical timetable for ourselves, for our children, okay, and if you could manage the screen time, subhanallah, you will notice that this internet will turn into the biggest blessing that you have, because we have a lot of apps, we have a lot of, alhamdulillah, scholars on the internet. We have very expert scholars with authentic information they are giving out as well. So I think one of the things that we could do is, like I said to you, a physical timetable need to be drawn, and we have to follow this kind of schedule. Otherwise, time, like Imam Shafi'i said, al-waqtu kas-sayf. The time is like a sword. If you don't cut it, it will cut you. If you don't utilize the time is just going to disappear from you. You could never find the lost time. You can never, like you said, half of my life is gone already. Absolutely. Same for me, I would say that. A lost time can never be recalled. It's gone now. That's why Allah has taken an oath in the Quran, wal asr. So a lot of our shabab, our youth today, are actually wasting this valuable time. This is the time of learning. They say, there is a saying by one of the someone said, Ali said, someone said it was Umar ibn Khattab. I'm not really sure who said it because I couldn't find the chain of transmission, but it's very valuable. He said, our youth time should be divided into 3 parts. 7, 7, 7. He said, la'ibuhum sab'an, adibuhum sab'an, khaliluhum sab'an. The first 7 years is with the children and the parents should be bonding time. And the second 7 means 7 till 14 now is supposed to be the learning time. This is the most crucial time. Okay, their time was 14. In our time, I'll say, is up to 16, up until going to college. If a person doesn't do really well in the secondary school, they find it very difficult to reconnect with the study life. If you don't study and educate yourself, then you will fall behind. You don't find that confidence in the ummah again, yeah. And then shaitan comes and does waswasa. And then the last 7, from 14 to 21, is that khaliluhum. This is when everyone needs to act like your sincere friends to one another. So the thing is, a lot of valuable time are getting wasted. We need to hold that time, get the control of that time. Otherwise, like I said to you, we will lose a valuable time, and we're not going to benefit ourselves. And this has an impact later on in life. People they don't know what to do. People can't find job. People don't have any confidence. They don't know how to even worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They become hopeless, and then they become demoralized. And unfortunately, this is when all the sins, they started to emerge in a bigger number.
জাযাকাল্লাহ খায়ের। দর্শক যারাই আমাদের সাথে জয়েন করছেন সবাইকে আমরা ওয়েলকাম করতেছি তুজাহাল উম্মাহ ফেস দ্য উম্মাহ পেজ থেকে। আজকে আমাদের সাথে এতক্ষণ ছিলেন শেখুনা শেখ মুজাহিদ আলী, যিনি স্পেশালিস্ট হলেন এই আরবিক ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ এবং লিটারেচার এবং হাদিস এবং বিশেষ করে কেরাতের উপরে। ওনার শিক্ষার জীবন শুরু হয়েছিল ইংল্যান্ডে, তারপর সিরিয়াতে ছিলেন। উনি আবার এখন ইংল্যান্ডে মানে শিক্ষক হিসাবে এই খেদমত করতেছেন। আলহামদুলিল্লাহ, আমরা গর্বিত যে উনি আমাদের সাথে আছেন। আপনারা যারাই এখন জয়েন করছেন অবশ্যই আমাদের পেজকে লাইক করবেন, শেয়ার করবেন, ফলো করবেন, কমেন্টস করবেন। আমরা উম্মাহ কি জিনিস সেটা নিয়ে এতক্ষণ ধরে ডিসকাশন করতেছি। যে উম্মার যে একটা আদর্শ, সেই আদর্শ নিয়ে আমরা শুধু কথা বললে হবে না আমাদের বাস্তবায়নতা কি হবে না হবে সেটা নিয়ে আমরা আলোচনা করার চেষ্টা করতেছি। অবশ্যই আমরা মেইনলি শুরু করছিলাম আরবিকে, তারপরে ইংলিশে। আমরা চেষ্টা করবো আমাদের গেস্টরা যেই ভাষাগুলি সবচেয়ে ওদের জন্য সহজ উত্তম সেইটাকে অনার করার জন্য। সো সবসময় আমরা মিক্সড গেস্টগুলো নিয়ে আসবো এবং ভবিষ্যতে আমরা আরো মোকাবিলা এবং মনে করেন যে আরো ডিসকাশন হবে উইথ মোর দেন ওয়ান গেস্ট ইনশাআল্লাহ। তো অবশ্যই আপনারা যারা এখন শরীক হয়েছেন আপনারা লাইক করবেন, শেয়ার করবেন, ফলো করবেন, কমেন্টস করবেন এবং ও ফেস দ্য উম্মাহর সাথে থাকবেন ইনশাআল্লাহ। নতুন একটা যাত্রা আল্লাহ সুবহানাহু ওয়া তাআলা আমাদেরকে তৌফিক দান করুক এবং কবুল করুক। আমরা চেষ্টা করব যে বাস্তব বিষয়গুলো আমাদের দিন থেকে যে বাস্তব বিষয় সময় এবং জায়গা কে হিসাবের ভিতরে নিয়ে এসে আমরা বিভিন্ন আলোচনা করা যেটা আমাদের জন্য প্রয়োজন। আপনারা অবশ্যই কমেন্টস করতে পারবেন, ফিডব্যাক দিবেন, সেটা থেকে আমরা ইনশাআল্লাহ উপকৃত হব। উস্তাদ, now we spent a bit of time talking if you like the what is the definition, what is the meaning of the ummah. Now you are a citizen of the ummah, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, from the day you were born, and inshallah may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the best of citizens without if you like some kind of a formal Muslim representation of a organized Muslim body, which as you said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give that collective spirit again, but we all must maintain a level of that collective spirit within our everyday dealings and doings. Now Ustad, if we wanted to find out a little bit about you, and this is our time inshallah in the last 10 minutes or so inshallah, favorite sport, what do you what sport do you enjoy and why, Ustad?
Okay, alhamdulillah. The sports that I enjoy is football. I'm not sure why, but I'll tell you, because when I was 11, I came to England. So when I was in Bangladesh, till the age of 11, I used to play football with in my school yard, in my madrasa yard, front of my house. So I was playing football, and and just naturally I became very good at kicking the ball, and so that's what happened. So when I came to then at the age of 11, when I came to England, and then I realized that in school they have a proper training. They have a PE, which I never had in Bangladesh. We used to give a ball and say, play children. But in here, in England, we realized that they train you. There's a physical training going on here. They teach you techniques and etc. And I was picking up very fast because I was already learning this. I've already knew a lot of things as well. So suddenly within 1 year, I became the captain of my school. And so I was naturally very good at this one. So because there are other sports as well. So because I was really good at football, I was given the opportunity to play. I became the captain of my team since year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, all the way. I captained my school team as well. And I was also, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't know, I was also scouted to play for a team in the north known as Stockport. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it all the way. To be honest with you, my father, rahimahullah ta'ala, he didn't want me to become a football player. He said that I didn't raise you to become a football player. I want you to do something more important, to study the deen. Jazahullah khairan. But even now, I play football, even now as well, just because of COVID. The last time I kicked a ball is 2 years now. So because of COVID, I'm not playing, but I'm going to get back to football. I really enjoy playing football.
Ustad, taken back to your memories of first 11 years of Bangladesh, and you enjoy playing football. We know that now cricket has become a very big factor in Bangladesh. But in those 11 years, do you remember playing football in the rain? And how was it? Did you enjoy that? Slipping over in the mud and then getting back and continuing. You don't have boots on. How was that feeling? Can you remember anything?
Yes, I could still. To be honest with you, we were playing football most of the time. We had very little rain. That's one blessing in Bangladesh. And I've noticed that when the rain is to come, then people are already getting upset. They just want to grab the ball and go away. So we couldn't play football. I cannot remember in Bangladesh, to be honest, playing in the rain. At my time, I'm talking about. So I'm taking you all back all the way to like the 80s. In the 80s in Bangladesh, the people growing up, they didn't like to play football in the rain. Rain come, they'll grab the ball and go home. When I came to England, however, I realized that here they play in all weather. If it's raining, if it's snowing, if the game is on, you don't stop until the game is finished. So that was different. But going back to Bangladesh, absolutely right. I never had no trainers, never had no football boots. To be honest with you, even the ball wasn't really good quality. The pitch wasn't, really neat as well. The grass was all over. We used to get injured just by running without the ball, and that's how he was, but it made us, it made us very solid, I'll tell you, with our feet and everything. It was so much fun because sometimes you're kicking towards the goal and the ball is ending up somewhere else. It's not because your kick is bad, it's just the shape of the ball. So alhamdulillah, it's a good memory, fun, and I realized that we all had one aim, just to have fun, and we had that fun.
As a student of madrasa, we know that the word madrasa literally means school, but we know that it has taken a different meaning, particularly in the Southeast Asian and subcontinent, which is more like the religious school, and that has historical reasons, which we may not be able to talk about now. But often we find that a person in the madrasa should not be involved with quote dunyawi things like wasting time. So for example, often sports could be seen as that. How was it for you when you were in the madrasa, one of the top madrasas in the UK, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen? Did you get a chance to play, and did the teachers join in as well?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, that is true. A lot of people, they think like sports is bad, or that's not true. Sports is very important. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he encouraged the Sahaba to swim, archery, horse riding. These are the things that it was dominant. Even wrestling as well. The Prophet ﷺ, you've seen Umar ibn al-Khattab, he was a wrestler before he embraced Islam. So all that was permitted, but the Prophet ﷺ gave guidelines. When it comes to sports and entertainment, it shouldn't neglect you from the remembrance of Allah. That's the key thing. Regarding madrasa, when I went there, mashallah, I was very lucky because our madrasa has a football pitch. Okay, and in our break time we're allowed to play.
It was a dream come true. It was
the best madrasa because a lot of schools in this country, in England, they don't have it. They don't have a playground. They don't have it. But
particularly the private schools, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm talking about the private school. The private schools in this country, majority of them, they don't have sports field. They have to go to the local park and etc. We had basically literally a football pitch, right next to the madrasa, and it was for all the public in that area, but for some reason, because of having it next to a madrasa, you got 250 children, we've taken over basically. So naturally became ours. So every break time we used to pray. Our break time used to be from 3:30 till 6 o'clock. So you can imagine we got a long time to play. So every day we should play football. The teachers didn't join in, no, but they allowed us to play. They had no problem. Okay.
Now, in terms of, we know that even our shuyukh, they need to eat. So whenever you get a chance to take your family out, what kind of food do you take them out to, and why?
Yeah, so one of the first things for us, as you all know, that we look at the halal restaurant. So we have to first of all find which is a halal restaurant. And, so that's very important to me. And, most of the food that we eat is basically, it's all depend. We don't go for rice and curry. Because when it comes to rice and curry, my wife makes the best rice and curry, so I'm not going to go and waste and eat rice and curry anywhere else. So it's
just declared it to thousands online, Ustad, that
absolutely
your home is the best for rice and curry.
No, so I'm not exaggerating. This is the truth. So I don't like to go out for rice and curry, etc. But I have children. I have 4 boys, and they would like to eat sometime out. So yeah, I will go for like the traditional burgers and chips and pizza. These are the things that take us out sometime.
Right, with your 4 boys, because we live, well, like we talked about, we live in a time where there's so much on offer. Now, when it comes to football, I suspect maybe your boys are also into playing football. That's if right. There was a footballer that you say, yeah, this is a very good footballer, when it comes to, often we sadly, we can't look at a lot of sports and entertainment people for a lot of moral values, but maybe maybe some do. We have to say some people have an all-rounder, and that is an ideal, and that's how we need to be and should be. Now, when it comes to pure football, if you like, yeah, if you said to your sons, look, I want one of you to really do well in football, and I want you to follow his football playing example, who would it be and why, Ustad?
I would, without a doubt, it would be Muhammad Salah now. Muhammad Salah, who plays for Liverpool, originally from Egypt. I actually highlight what these guys do outside of football. First of all, in football itself, he is really good. That's very important as well. But you can't be rubbish at something and then, you have other good qualities. People don't look at it. What you do, you need to be good at it as well. whatever you do. So if you're a teacher, you have to be the best teacher. You have to try everything. If you are a, or you call it, let's say, you are a calligrapher, you need to be best at that. If you are working in the internet industry, engineer, or you're engineer or anything, whatever, or you're a doctor, in your own field, first of all, you have to be excellent. And this guy, mashallah, he trains so hard. He's not naturally a good football player. He trains very hard to become the best football player. He keeps, his fitness level is very good. He stays fit, and it's not easy. When they're very difficult to stay fit as well. Okay, so many of us, we went to the gym and we want to lose weight, we put it back on again. This guy continuously keeps himself, looks after himself. So I think it's about dedication. So he's a very good football player, but what he does outside of football is really amazing. He's always giving charities. He's helping, he's building hospitals and clinics and giving out donations and helping people around the world. And this is what I say about this guy. I said, look, he hasn't forgotten that he belongs to a big ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He could have said that I'm only gonna, like get money and put into the bank. But no, this guy continues to donate. So I tell my children that look at this guy. He's a Muslim guy, and he doesn't care when he scores a goal. He knows that he's surrounded by disbelievers. They don't understand what he's doing. But he will go to sujood and he thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could disagree. He knows that a lot of people, they don't believe in any faith as well. But he believes, this is what he believes. And now people have basically accepted this. A lot of the time, like to pray salah, we feel nervous. A lot of people, for example, in the salah time, they don't stop the car and pray at the service station. Why? Because people are going to be watching us like that. This is, I don't care about people. I care about Allah. This is, if the salah time comes, I'm going to pray my salah. If the namaz time comes, I'm going to pray my namaz. Nothing should be stopping us from worshiping Allah. And I think this guy basically gave a lot of confidence to our British youth here that look at this one. He scores a goal, and even he goes to countries where there are zero Muslim in the football field. He goes to sujood and he thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And people, they research. Why did he prostrate? Who is he thanking? Why is he thanking? Well, I think this is the reason why I said that, this guy, he made it all the way. And he also realized that football not going to stop him, compromising in deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's going to continue to pray his salah and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And football is not going to stop him from that. And I think that's a very beautiful message is given to everyone, that you could enjoy life as well as worship Allah.
Jazakallah khair. That's a very, very, very precious choice that you made. People who are watching, particularly in Bangladesh, for example, we know they love football. Yeah, we're going to come to a very interesting question for you very soon to conclude with that. Now, the thing is, Muhammad Salah, like you said, for Muslims who are living in this part of the world, in parts of the world where the community is very small, the presence of Muslim feeling may be more difficult at different times. But Muhammad Salah is an audience for the global world. He's an audience not just for Muslims but for non-Muslims. And the idea that you can use sports to be shuhada ala nas is also a great opportunity. I mean, sometimes we underestimate the role we have. But one thing you highlighted, which is vital for me and you and all members of the Ummah, is the concept of ihsan, because you're saying that he is working to be the best at what he is. And is that not connected to ibadah then? Can we not class what he's doing through it, trying to be a great example of a sportsman and never forgetting who he is and what he's about, and he's not using his means, he's using his sports as a means, and he's always clear about the end. Is the concept of ihsan not important in everything, including sports?
That's a very good, a very profound point that you made. This is the most important thing that I want to say, that a lot of people, they don't realize that Allah has given everyone different talents. My talent is different than someone else's. I have 4 boys, and I could see all 4 of them, they have something very common, but each one of them, they have something that the other doesn't have. There's something, one of the boys, for example, one of my boys, he likes reading book. The other one, he likes watching stuff. Another one, he likes to do something physical. So their learning is different. He wants to do, he could learn just by watching something. The other one, he has to read something. And one has to do practically he has to do it like that. So people have different talents, different way of learning, different approach, and etc. So what we need to do, facilitate that path for them. Don't stop them from that. A lot of you can't teach somebody the one style. You have to understand what's his skills, what's his strength, and use that strength and facilitate that path for them, as and then you tell them that whatever some people, they like, for example, whatever interest that you have, in that interest, for example, if someone like maths, for example, make them an expert in mathematics. If someone like reading a book in English literature, make them an expert in English literature. Some people like cars, for example, make him a mechanic. Someone like to be a doctor, choose that path for him and help him, and tell them that in every single field, whatever field of life, that you be the best at it. Be at and try to get right at the top. Don't accept the middle grounds. They don't say it's enough now. It's never enough. I want to be the best in that field. When you aim very high, Allah will ease Allah will make things easier for you. So you're absolutely right. We should be we should have the quality of ihsan in everything that we do, and for that requires a lot of effort. You can't just relax and think it's going to happen. I remember when I was first learning Arabic language, I said to myself, I want to speak Arabic language like an Arab. But I'm from Bangladesh. I came to this country at the age of 11. It was very difficult, and I went to madrasa, a traditional Islamic seminary, at the age of 16. And when I went there, I saw little kids. They could basically already, they could speak Arabic because they've started very early. So I've got a long way to go. So I said to myself, how do I, everyone said you started late. Normally people go to Islamic seminary at the age of 12 and 13 and 14. You came at the age of 16, and this is very late. So I said, yes. I said to myself that even if I started late, I have to basically increase my effort. So I increased my effort. So I was spending like, an hour extra learning the vocabularies and etc. I had an Arab friend, and I told him like that, I will pay you. This is in Islamic seminary. I'll pay you £1 a day if you teach me like 50 words. So I had my pocket money. I was giving him £1, and there was a big thing for madrasa, £1. So I was paying him.
Ustad, what was the value of that pound at that time, Ustad?
Oh, well, with the £1, you'll get chicken and chips and a drink together. And that's what we wanted. So you could get one chicken and chips and drink. So it was like that. Like the burger nowadays, it's like £4, right? I'm talking about 1994. In 94, you could get chicken and chips and a drink for £1. That's in the north. I'm talking about Dewsbury and.
Was that Bradford 5 times a day then, Ustad? The chicken.
That's £5 one, yeah. So
no, what I'm saying, was it 5 times a day? The
no, £1 a day. Yeah, £1. Yeah. So
but did you have it 5 times a day?
No.
Just once.
Just once. Yeah. So I was giving him, and he was very happy about it. And I was learning. So alhamdulillah, then when I graduated, I was speaking Arabic fluently. But then I said to myself that I'm going to go to an Arab country, live with an Arab to see how they speak. So because I wanted to be, I wanted to get to the top as much as I can. So anyway, that's what we need to do. We cannot stop. So you're absolutely right. When we learn a language, we're learn it properly. Okay, when we do a job and you're good at that job, be the best at that job. Do it properly. We can't just. The problem is we do half of this, half of that. We can't be, like they say in English, jack of all trades, master of none. We can't do that. That attitude is wrong.
Jazakallah khair. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al ihsan. For the doing of all things with excellence, there's nothing other than the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that same manner. And if Allah is giving us reward for the ihsan that we do, imagine what that reward is in dunya and of course in akhirah. Now, Ustad, you've got 4 boys. How does the mother, the woman in the family, is also involved in all of this, whether it's sports, whether it's giving time to the boys, how do you do it together?
So alhamdulillah, to be honest with you, the most of the activities when it comes to the kids is actually led by the mother. You get it? Because I'm actually an imam, I'm also a teacher, so I'm out about a bit too much. The only time that I have is actually the Saturdays and the Sundays. And even Saturday and Sundays are not full Saturday Sundays.
Even now, I'm assuming she's giving time to them whilst you're giving time to the Ummah.
Yeah, that's right. So this is what's happening. So alhamdulillah, the boys are happy. They have their own timetable, what to do. Saturdays and Sundays, most of the time, actually, it's their free time because they go to a very busy scheduled schools on Monday to Fridays. So, alhamdulillah, when the weather is good, we go out. Bike riding is a must for all our kids to stay fit. We all go for bike riding. We go for walk as well into the green areas. We have loads of parks around in where I live, so we go to the park as well. And the boys from the four of them, three of them like football, one doesn't. So the three of them will kick around with me. Again, the other one at that time will be using the swings and the slides and stuff like that. So this is how we spend our time, alhamdulillah.
Jazakumullah khair, Ustad. My final question for all the viewers of Tujah al-Ummah who've just joined with the Sheikh Mujahid Ali from England and the city of London. We talked about your sports. You love football, Ustad. There's thousands, if not millions, of supporters of football in Bangladesh, and they support two teams, Ustad, and they're willing to sadly fight and insult each other. So now I want to ask you this burning question: Argentina or Brazil?
Oh, for me, I like both of them. I don't have any. I like both of them because when I was young,
you're working towards the ittihad of the Bangladeshi Ummah.
No, it's because the Bangladeshi brothers will know and sisters will know. When I was young, in our syllabus, we had the biography of Pele.
Yes.
Edison Du at Manchester. So we had all his biography. So we were like, in our book, we had a biography of Pele that we had to read in Bangla. So we got to know Brazil. Okay. And later on, I learned so much about Diego Armando Maradona. So I realized that then because of the internet, I saw Maradona basically, in my time, because Maradona, he was playing. The very first time I saw him actually playing is the 1990 World Cup, when they made it all the way to Italy. In Italy, is Italia 90. They made it all the way to final. I watched him in 94 as well, for the first few games until he was stopped because of the drugs allegation. I watched him after that as well. So I watched Maradona how to play, but Pele, I didn't see him. But due to YouTube, I seen it. So we learn about Pele, we learn about Maradona. That's why I say even Steven, they're both equally to me. I wouldn't prefer any one team over another.
Jazakumullah khair, Ustad. It's a very sensitive topic, and we're very grateful that you are very aware of your surroundings, and that's very important, particularly the audience who are watching. We don't want to isolate anyone from Tujah al-Ummah, inshallah. So once again, on behalf of Tujah al-Ummah, it's an honor to have had you. Inshallah, next week we will have you once more, and in the future we will have you more. And next week, inshallah, we want to talk about the awlawiyat, the priorities of the Ummah, inshallah. We all want to be members of the Ummah, but we also should have some, the Ummah has some rights on each of us and responsibility, and what are our priorities through your eyes, Ustad, as a sheikh, as a teacher, and even as a guardian. Inshallah, we will discuss that in the next session. All our viewers, Jazakumullah khair to everyone. Please make sure you like, you comment, you share, you follow, and of course, inshallah, join us next week. We will inshallah continue again in the Arabic language and in English, and as we change our guests, we will change the language that will fit them best. Once again, Jazakumullah khair to Ustad Mujahid. It's an honor to have you here. Akramakallah kama akramtana. Inshallah, we will speak to you again very soon in the next episode of Tujahul Ummah. Stay well, stay safe. And my gratitude to everyone who've taken part and watched. Please make dua for this journey to be of acceptance and of khidmah on behalf of the Ummah for all of our brothers and sisters. Stay well, and we will speak to you again. And once again, Ustad Mujahid, Jazakumullah khair. أكرمك الله كما أكرمتنا. نتكلم معك تقريبا بإذن الله تعالى. وادعوا لنا في دعاك في بحر الغيب يا أستاذ. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.